So I'm driving in some of the worst conditions I've ever driven in. The snow is just coming down in huge flakes. The roads are really bad. They aren't plowing it well. I have chains on right now, but had I known it was going to be this bad, I wouldn't have flown out of Reno. I would have just paid the extra money to fly out of Medford to go to ChaserCon. So I'm hoping I make it back without getting stuck or anything. I've made it pretty well so far, just going like 30 miles an hour, but it's pretty crazy. So today is Wednesday, February 15th. Tomorrow we're headed out to Reno. I don't even know if you can hear me. It's really windy here in Medford, but just prepping for the trip tomorrow. And one of the things I like to do, and this is a tip for you guys if you ever go on a road trip, is go to your local library and pick up an audiobook. They're really have a good variety, and you can get them for free, so it's actually a really good deal. It really makes the time go by fast. So let's check out the selection. Today is Thursday, February 16th, and I am about ready to head to Reno. I got everything packed up here, just doing some last minute things. Got my audiobooks. So let's head out. I played both cash games and tournaments this week, and the cash games proved to be quite lucrative. I made a total of $959 over 4 different sessions playing cash, so pretty good week for me in terms of that. In terms of tournaments, I actually didn't win or cash any this week. Of course, I didn't record a vlog this week because I'm saving that for my trip right now to Reno. So didn't get any footage of that, but ran bad in the tournaments. I had aces cracked and kings cracked back to back, 2 really big hands. Both of them were cracked by a flush that got there on the river, and same guy actually cracked them, and I was betting pretty big. He was calling it down with this flush draw and hit it on the river in both instances. So what can you do? But the cash games were great. Made over $400 just last night alone, so that's been really nice. But yeah, hoping to hit up some tournaments and maybe even some cash games in Reno here, and maybe even get some footage if I can pull it off in the casinos. I know they're a little more strict when it comes to recording, so we'll see what we can do. I have a very important question to ask you guys. Do you have any fruit? You're not hiding any, are you? Well, the guy in front of me had an orange. He went to jail. Can't bring fruit into California from Oregon. Anybody got a pee? Nope. Okay. So last time I was here was in the spring of 2015 when I was hiking the Pacific Crest Trail. So just returning along the path here brings back some memories. Hiking through here, it was really hot that day. The Hat Creek rim's really exposed, there's no shade, so kind of neat to see it again. Right around the corner here, the Pacific Crest Trail sign should be on the side of the road. Let's see if we can see it. There it is, PCT. That's where I crossed. So we made it to Reno, finally. Lots of hours of driving. Check out this view. I have never seen a buffet with cotton candy before. That's pretty neat. That was one of the best buffets I've had. If you ever go through Reno, you gotta go to the Atlantis. And I think it's called Toucan Sam's or something like that. But man, amazing food, huge variety, good seafood, good steak, good everything. So even really strong horseradish, which I like. But anyway, I'm gonna head downtown, get some footage for you guys, and then I'm gonna go play some poker at the Peppermill. Probably gonna have to do a cash game. There's no tournaments this late, but see how we do, see if I can get some filming in. So as I mentioned earlier, I wasn't really sure what the rules were in Reno in terms of video recording at the table. And my nerves were pretty high. due to that fact. I wasn't sure if I was going to get talked to for doing it. And so I didn't risk putting my phone on the table like I do at the club here in Medford. That's where you get the really good close-up shots, and it's really easy to see my cards. So what I did was held my phone kind of up near my chest and bent over when I looked at my cards, trying to angle the phone at the cards. And doing this was awkward. It was hard to pay attention to my hands, and so I didn't get a lot of footage while I was in Reno. I'm going to talk through one or two hands just so that you can kind of get an idea of how I got to my final result, but there isn't as much poker in this as there is in my usual vlogs for that reason. Hopefully the other content in the video will make up for that, but this is kind of an out of the ordinary vlog, and so you aren't going to see as much poker here. So this is a 1-2 no limit cash game, and the next hand I'm going to talk you through I actually didn't film, but I wanted to go through it just to let you guys know the sequence of events. So I'm on the button, and there's several limpers, and it gets to me, and I look down and find pocket pair of queens. So I go ahead and raise it up to $10. The small blind calls and the cutoff position calls, so we go three-way to the flop. The flop isn't very favorable for me. It comes out ace, king, 3, rainbow. The small blind and cutoff both check to me though, so I go ahead and make a continuation bet representing an ace. And both the small blind and cutoff position decide to call. The turn, on the other hand, is a very favorable card. We get a queen, so we now have a set. This time the small blind leads out for $30. The cutoff position thinks for a minute and he calls, and since there's now a potential straight out there, I decide to do a little bit of pot control here and just make the call. The river is a pretty good card for us. It's an offsuit 8, so we don't really need to worry about that. The small blind decides to slow down and checks, and the cutoff position shoves his stack, which is only about $30. I'm kind of wondering if he has a straight at this point, and I don't know what the small blind has behind, so I decide to just call. The small blind decides to call as well, so the cutoff position turns over king queen. He has top 2 pair, and I go ahead and turn over my set, and the small blind immediately mucks, so we take down a really big pot here, and we're ahead quite a bit early on in this session. This brings up a new segment that I will call a learning moment. One of the main purposes of my poker vlog is to get feedback on my play so that 1, I can improve my own poker play, and 2, so that other poker players can learn from my mistakes and my successes to improve their game. So in this hand, once I hit my set of queens, rather than trying to control the pot to defend against a straight, I should have been building a bigger pot to get more value. I mentioned in an earlier vlog that I was thinking of calling this series The Timid Poker Player, and this specific hand illustrates the purpose for that reasoning. While I stacked the cutoff position with his 2 pair, I still don't know what the small blind had in that position, and if I had re-raised on the turn or the river, I probably could have gotten more value out of the small blind. So today's learning moment is always have a reason for your bet or your call. Alright, not too bad for playing my first cash game in Reno. Cashed out for 125 profit, so I'm pretty happy with that. It's midnight, a lot later than I'm usually up, so I was starting to get really tired and play sloppy, so I decided to leave, but it was fun. And my flight leaves at 1:30 tomorrow, so I can sleep in a little bit, so that'll be nice. But pretty happy with the results. I have a few hands I'm going to cover. It was a little bit hard to film the hands. I don't know what their rules are, so I was a little bit nervous about it, but I filmed a little bit, so. right, so we're here at ChaserCon. We got Chris and Eugene, and we're at Famous Dave's getting the classic barbecue. This has almost become a tradition for ChaserCon, but these are two of the guys that I chase with when I'm out in Oklahoma, and so we're ready to do this weekend. You guys ready to give a speech this weekend?
Yeah, I'm going to try. Try my best.
Yeah, we'll do best. We'll do our best.
Yeah.
Last talk of the convention, so we have our work cut out for us.
We'll have Jason in attendance. That's all I know.
Yeah,
so
that's right. I'm the
good.
biggest fan. Will be out in the audience here. So, but anyway, yeah, I'm excited to be here, and it should be fun. And I'll add some updates from the convention itself later. So this is what ChaserCon's all about right here, is just the camaraderie and meeting up with all your old friends, catching up, telling tornado stories. It's a good time. Got a lot of good friends in here, and that's what it's all about, really. I mean, the convention itself is fun, but you know, you hear the good talks, but this is really what it's all about right here. It's fun. I'm driving in some of the worst conditions I've ever driven in. The snow is just coming down in huge flakes. The roads are really bad. They aren't plowing it well. I have chains on right now, but had I known it was going to be this bad, I wouldn't have flown out of Reno. I would have just paid the extra money to fly out of Medford.